All right. So let's go ahead and move a little bit forward here into Technical Tuesday.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tuesdays are always the time when Pedro Garcia goes over the markets and tells you how the world's economy is going to affect your bags. Are the world's politicians making you rich? Are they making you poor? What is the deal with the world and all of those arcane numbers that you hear? Well, ultimately, they make your bags fat or they make them small, and that's why we do... That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Technical Tuesday in the house. Pedro, what's going on in the world markets? I mentioned earlier that the Japanese bond auction went off okay yesterday and gave people just a little bit of care. Why do I care about the Japanese bond market, Tom? Because it affects the U.S. bond market. And if it's good news in Japan, it likely will be good news in the U.S. and likely means your Bitcoin holdings are going to triple. Okay, that was a stretch, that last one. But it is the, since they're out in the future, it's a precursor. That's just one thing saying what's going on. Pedro, there's a lot of other things. What you got for us today?
Yeah, so we're gonna go do what we were trying to do last week with Chris, and it's gonna be fun. We're all gonna like it a lot, and if you don't like it, you're gonna like it. And so it's good. It's good. We're gonna go over a couple things here, kind of like overall what we normally do, and then I want to bring up some coins that we could potentially, like yesterday we talked about WorldCoin and that potential push up that I would expect it, playing it off of the perpetuals where you could play, and so I want to bring up a couple more of those for you guys, and hopefully I can get through all this and then give that to you. So we'll get right into it. Let's go. And
Technical Tuesday.
If you have any questions, man, please jump in, because it can sometimes just me droning on can get annoying.
This is a question and answer show, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you watching on Rumble, all 16 of you now that I've got here on the back end studio number, thank you very much. Ask a question if you want to know why the Australian sheep market is affecting your Shiba Inu. Let us know and we'll tell you. The answer to that is it doesn't. So that's still an answer, but.
I was like, sheep. You know what though? I have been definitely looking to eat more sheep and more goat. Like,
oh no, I blew it. I brought up an arcane topic, and Pedro's a master at
it. Anyways, you're like, okay, all right. So let's look at the global market at large here, with all the stock markets brought together. You can see here that we are seeing the market go up. So far this month, we have put all-time highs in, which is really cool. That would be this week right here. And so you can see here that the world's economy, people are getting richer when it comes to the world stock market.
All right, what is this number again? Total value of all this world stock markets?
Mm-hmm. And it's an ETF that correlates with the I forget what it is, but yeah, that's in a nutshell. Let me see, world markets charts. World stock markets, people are making money. Yay, there you go. The only issue, like I see though, is that we're kind of seeing a drop in volume here, but we are coming into the summertime where all of the institutions go to, or they sell in May and come back. What is it? Sell in May and come back in September. It's in September, but I'm trying to remember. There's a term that was actually used to be used. So it's kind of indicative of what I'm expecting, especially with kind of what we're seeing here. But ultimately, we will find out. Now, with that said, as we look at the S&P 500 here, the S&P 500 is showing some strength here. We are seeing it up, but we are seeing volume kind of fall off here. We've had an extended period in time of a pretty good amount of volume, of sell volume, back because of the tariff issues and tariff wars here with Trump. So potentially people are just maybe deloading or deleveraging their shorts and looking to go long into the summer. Hopefully we see this summer where basically this is a Bitcoin rally over the long haul where money's being left, and this goes up along with BTC. Looking at the NASDAQ, Me looking at the NASDAQ. We're looking at the NASDAQ here. That was where me looking at I was like, wait, what? What did you just say?
Which one you got there? The NQ?
Yeah, this is the NQ here. The NASDAQ futures here. And we will pull this up. Let's check out the 4-hour here. We had put that in there. What are this for? No, it's 2-hour. This block, that's why. That makes sense. And I had it. Is this 3 or 2? Oh, this was 3. This is 4-hour. So this would have been, yeah, this was a 4-hour here. So we saw it play off of here over this week. We saw it come down, bounce literally perfectly on the 200 period moving average on the 2-hour, which meant that we bounced off of the 20 period on the daily. So we came in, almost hit it, went back up, bounce, drop, go up. Okay, so we're going to remove that. And we are bearish, or excuse me, we are bullish on this market going up. So ultimately, I would expect to see come and test the highs here. We talked about last week that coming back and testing these lows and then going back up and hitting the 22,245 high here. And this would be honestly the next level that we're reaching towards and expected to. I think we're going to blow through that and keep going higher. So fingers crossed, we'll see what's up. But it's kind of like what it's looking like. And we'll probably do it on low volume, as you can see here. So come in September, we'll probably come back, blow through this area, and then they'll drop and they'll push it back up again. So, but it looks like potentially through the summer, they're just going to want to push it up. So I'm cool with that, because that means Bitcoin goes up and means my bags go up.
Fatter bags.
Fatter bags. Now, my biggest concern was looking at the RTY, and I didn't like how we were selling off. Ooh, that is in my ear. Last week, we were kind of coming down, and I was a little nervous, right? We talked about the monthly chart and what it's doing here. And so you can see here, we kind of put in okay, something just happened. I can't hear you, bud.
Check.
Oh, there you go. Did we lose?
Everything seems normal.
Okay. The music was dropped off, so I was wondering. All right, cool. Yeah, I can do
I was playing some sound effects, and I did them to you because weird things are going on with that.
All right, perfect. I would love no sound effects. It would be cool. No, like even music playing in the background. Just
you shouldn't be getting any right now.
Yeah, I have nothing. All right, perfect. All right, so we talked about the month kind of getting played. The only issue I have here, I think it's important to pay attention to. That's what that is. Okay, yes. All right, so one of the things that I'm looking at is the Russell here. Is that, yeah, this is the Russell. And this is the monthly chart. Is that we're not really putting in, again, a lot of the demand wicks here. As you can see, very small demand wicks as we're pushing up. So as we're pushing up, we can see here that 20 period moving average is bullish, as well as that 8 period moving average. Even though we're about to have a crossover, we potentially could see something like this, where the actual market here is going to kind of do this right here, and it start to kind of sideways and then start to point up. And then what would happen is you would see this type of situation. Orange. There we go. We'll see this here where it kind of starts to kind of go like this. And then we'll see this type of here. into the months. And so this is then where you would then see this kind of just go up, come down, go up. This would be in July then, boom, come down, and then come up and tap into here, right? And so I'm potentially getting up with the Russell. Now, again, I'm still worried with the Russell because the Russell is showing weakness there. So that's why it's like, and the Russell, I think, is the bell weather for the other indexes. So that's why I'm paying attention to the Russell and see what's happening here on the month and gauging if we're going to continue up, or is this thing going to push up, come down, and then draw back the other indexes. So again, the key is I'm expecting the indexes to go up, hence causing Bitcoin to go up. If that does happen, the only thing that could potentially push it down is what's happening here with the Russell, and it kind of just really kind of hurting the U.S. economy. And it's not, I mean, it's tied. It literally links the largest, smallest corporations in America that really kind of run America. So that's why it's really important to pay attention to the Russell, because it's kind of the bellwether of the economy. And by paying attention to it, you can kind of get a good grasp of what's actually kind of happening. So that's why I look at this chart.
Pedro, the Russell 2000 was a dog for a long time.
Yes.
As the money flowed into techs and all the big stocks, and Nvidia is up 8 million%, and people are just FOMO. Even hedge fund managers, FOMO. They're putting it in, creating their kind of a self-perpetuating go up cycle. But that didn't happen with the Russell. How's it do? Is in the past couple of months, is it coming back? Oh, that's a little bit better. Chart going up.
Well, here's the thing, and I want to bring this up. It's really important. You're taught, they call it the Magnificent Seven, right? You have a lot of these tech stocks. Those tech stocks, money was basically pulled out because of the tech kind of crash that we saw, right? With Nvidia, with Microsoft, with Facebook, Tesla, because of the whole entire situation with DeepSeek. Yeah, DeepSeek. And so what happens is, to get a lot of that money did kind of flow back into the Russell. So we saw that kind of happen here, but then it couldn't keep it going. Now the key is if those top 2,000 companies start to do really good reporting, then we start to see good earnings, which is what we haven't seen in a while. And in addition to that, the top 500 stocks, if only the 7 top stocks are doing really well, and because it is based on capitalization that causes market or indice to go up, the truth is the bottom 400, 300 stocks in the stock market or in the S&P 500, if those are not giving good earnings, and then you also have this not giving good earnings, a lot of the stocks here are not giving good earnings, that means that the U.S. stock market is sick. And it just has a really strong immune system that keeps pushing it up, i.e. called the Magnificent Seven. But if they start to show weakness, then we'll see the market start to really go down, because they're the only ones that are really keeping up our stock market. Talk about the bonds, because the bonds, again, are what control you and I. Remember, bonds, municipal bonds, notes are what pay for you to poop and clean water. Straight
Roads,
up.
Infrastructure, all the things that cities build to keep civilization running.
Mm-hmm. So that's why it's really important for bonds to happen. So when you look at here, the Euro bonds, US, oh no, this is wrong. No, we'll just stick. We'll go to here. Let's just stick with the monthly bonds. This is monthly bond yields. We've been staying about this level here of the 4 to 5 area. And I do expect us to kind of play here until we really see some movement within Jay Powell. Jay Powell, there was rumored of him, like you said, of him resigning. Nothing came of that. But it was really actually interesting to see if he was going to. and see, and nothing, it's just center. But if he does retire, I think we'll probably see the bonds kind of fall and some distable. He's been so just solid. Hopefully he doesn't leave. I don't want him to leave, but if it does, the next level that I would expect to see the 1 month yield to drop down to is really like that 428 area, or the 425 to the 325, 350 area here, percentage wise. So that's what I'm kind of looking at here to play off of this, and we'll see what's up.
So the time period you have up is the monthly chart.
No.
Up there it says monthly.
Oh, no. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yes, this is the monthly chart. Yes.
So since the administration changed, the yields have been coming down.
Well, because remember, this is like super important that you can. These are tradable situations. Like you.
Right. The market is driving the price down.
Well, not just that, but also you can so if the Treasury creates more treasuries, it can actually act as a form of dropping the bonds, because more of something causes price to drop, right? And so when you flood the market with more treasuries, it can actually have an interaction with the yield of the bond, because there's a lot of treasuries. So this is why when they keep saying, oh, there's not a lot of buyers in the market, well, partly because we have a lot of treasuries out there. Right. So if you
lots of supply.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying here. And so if you pull back supply on treasuries, then what do we say? And also we do that because we need to raise capital, right? We need to fund the governments. So these are just small little nuances that you can actually see interacting here. Now, I don't go into that stuff because you guys will get, probably annoyed, and we'll see everything because this is nerdy stuff. But it's important because this is actually how the game is played. This is the execution of the market. This is when you see a boxer who's so good at, but what he does, he spends literally hundreds of hours perfecting like the crossover, right? Pushing through his toe all the way from an energetic standpoint into his left arm, right? So when he connects with your jaw, all you see is him like in the fight going, oh my goodness. But he spent thousands of hours just literally perfecting from all the way from his toe to his knuckle, right? And what is that called? I don't know why my brain is thinking on that, but it is not as energetic effect. It is. Anyways, all that to say is this. That's where this is played. This is played on the nuances, and most people don't realize it. And I believe Trump understands that. I believe that Besant understands that and gets the nuances of this market in a much deeper detail. So it's really kind of cool with what we're seeing here. That's one way you can play it. Let's talk about China here real quick. So China here, we've talked about it being in this range here. It's still pretty much playing here for their stock market. But you can see here that it keeps balancing off that 8-period moving average. So I would expect China to come back down and test these lower levels here on the monthly chart as it's pushing up. So we'll see what happens. But I do expect to see it kind of pull back down because we had a big seller wick here, and to see it come potentially down to this lower level here. And this is the PGJ account here. So boom, or PGJ ETF. And that is going to be a monthly chart. Okay, check out the dollar here. So the dollar again is coming back down and testing the lows here of that 107. We talked about this trade right here from the previous month, and we're kind of bouncing off this lower area here. You can see this would have been, and did we? Yeah, it's traded right off of it. Look at that. Nice trade. You can see literally just at the beginning of the month came back down, took all the stops, and then they just went up. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. It's always
The question is why. This is since what's this time frame here?
this is 5 minute, but
Oh,
this is
5 minute. Oh, okay. I thought that I was.
yeah, but this is being played. Really, this trade is being taken off of the monthly and weekly chart here, because this was the low for the month and week. And so that's really what happened is they came down, they put in the buyer wick area here. This, as you can see right here, here's the buyer wick, boom, and then they pushed it up. So this was the low for this week and month. And so there's all these people basically have stops right there, hoping that it's going to go up. They stopped them out with basically the shorts, and you can see it go up. So this is one of the plays I always try to tell you guys, right? Previous lows, previous highs. If it's based on a higher time frame, weekly or monthly, you're typically going to have stops there from that a lot of big time swing traders trade, and so they do get stopped out, and then they get back in, and they get pissed off, and there's that one entire thing. But ultimately, that is kind of like what happens here.
No, then there's no emotion in any of this, Pedro. Not at all.
There's not supposed to be.
There's not supposed to be, right? But I can see a couple of people I've met over time who just get angry at, sports teams losing. That, there's just two. There's just them versus the other guys. Imagine when there's 50 million things you can trade, all with 1,000 billion different inputs into its price.
Yeah, absolutely. And that ability is it's kind of a simple. I always tell everybody, just pay attention to the trend.
Here's the required barking.
If the trend is down, right, pay attention to that. Whatever trending mechanism you use and your fine tuning of it, just study, become a student and trend. And put rules behind it that allow you to take advantage of that, because it doesn't matter really where you learn it. If you learn it, you can apply it anywhere you go in the world. So it's actually really cool. Okay. Wow, that's
I forgot to mention that to you.
okay, so that means I need to speed this up. Okay. Japanese yen.
I apologize. It was sitting in my Telegram thing, and I thought I had hit enter 45 minutes ago, and I had not.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about crude oil here real quick. We're seeing crude oil kind of go up for the month so far. So that's a sign that we're probably going to come and test that 66 area here, and then to see it come back down here. You see there's really no wick for the month, or a very, very small wick. And so there you can see that they're putting in this seller wick like you saw right here, but they're doing it